Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for
No nutting, Courtney. Why? That seems like a perfect activity for a Friday night, if I do say so myself. I hope everybody is good. Did I fall asleep? No. I don't think so. Oh, Bill can see me. Lady in red, off tune. Blame Elon, that's right. Hi guys. I hope you're all so great. Like 1,000 times great. I really do. No nutting would be a terrible way to end an evening, start a day. You know, I am of the opinion that you should nut every chance you get. That goes for ladies and men, by the way. Bizzle, by the Bizzle way. Anyways, I went for a little walk earlier today. Hello, Howard. I was walking outside earlier today, and I thought to myself, well, that's strange. It's not very often that you see hitchhikers around here, and the street was, while a busy street, it seemed odd to me, but I was walking from a distance, and I thought to myself, well, 2025 is a rough year for everybody. Perhaps this is the way the world is turning now. And so I kept walking towards this guy who I could see, had his arm out. And as I got closer, I realized that he was holding like a weed eater that I couldn't see. I could only see like his arm back. So turns out not only was he not hitchhiking, he was working. He's working, and I'm over here judging the man for hitchhiking. No, bitch, he's working. Anyways, I laughed to myself so much. Also, many of you were at Credence and Mikey's house, place, channel earlier for the adult man adopting an adult child. I tried to explain that to my Nana today, and it's fucked up when she was like, oh, well, it sounds like he's helping her then. And I was like, I don't think I've either explained it properly or you're just too old, Nana. I'm not quite sure where we're at. But, Credence and Mikey definitely share a house. They share a bed, right? I'm positive they hang out for all the minutes that they aren't live, right? Just like chit-chatting on the phone. I saw Mikey was here earlier. He said he liked the thumbnail. Naturally, duh. Anyways, okay, so I just rolled a joint. We have to talk about what we're gonna watch. So the thumbnail, I'm gonna be honest, what I did was I went through and I picked some pictures from old thumbnails that I'd made, and that's where I found that picture of me. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll put this on there. And then after I made and posted that, I managed to get some fresh court from today. Paisley, you did? Yes, I did. It's because I love you guys so much. Okay? It's sort of an archive. It's an archive from today, of court. But let's watch something fresh, shall we? Only because I don't really want to jump into looking through my archives, to be honest.
I felt sorry for
Shut up, sir! It's not your turn yet. Sorry. I don't have any Manning. I literally just pulled that from pictures that I had. We will do an archive cases. I promise we will. Believe me, we're going to have to one of these days. From the archives, fresh court. I feel cheated. Well, I honestly was just going to random grab out cases and just hit play from my downloads folder. But I don't think that's a very good idea, to be honest with you. So I'm making an executive decision here. Funny enough, I am the boss. It's crazy. Who let me be the boss? I don't know. This lady. She's the boss lady. The boss bitch. And the boss bitch says we're watching Small Claims Court. And this is a preview of what will be in the archives. Eventually, this will be in the archives if I download it. Oh, dear. Also, okay, the boys, you're going to be able to hear them. I can hear them. Sir, Judge, are you looking down my shirt? Judge? Judge, stop looking down my shirt, please. That's inappropriate. Okay? You can put your hands up there all you want. It's not appropriate. Okay? Hi, Brew Crew. I hope... Oh, the Kitchen Court Clan is a nice way to put it. We're pretty good. We are pretty good. Let's get this going so I can handle them for a minute and get us going. Exhibit A! And yes, you guys are allowed to look down my shirt, of course. That's what it's here for.
On, do you wish to have that?
That'll be fine.
Great.
Oh, that goes for everybody at home. If you would like a headset, please go put that on now. Hi, Beverly Bradford.
Okay, we can put it on. Come on up.
Oh, here's an extra shot for the boobs, guys. Since the judge isn't looking. Not for the judge. Be careful when he looks. Also, if you're new here, welcome.
Okay.
I'm a hot
Your
mess.
wire's kind of hooked up behind your ear there.
Okay.
No. Behind, turn this way. Okay, pull that, you have the wire around your, there you go. And then loop it. So keep looping. Take the whole thing off. The earphones off. There you go. Unwrap that wire. There you go. Perfect. Now put it back on.
Okay.
All right. Now you can go take a seat. You can adjust the volume on that. And can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So
Judge, you owe Verizon money. You owe Verizon money when you say that.
before we start, normally I give this sort of talk prior to trial, but you need to understand a few things before we get going. First of all, what happens in trials, I swear both parties in. I'll swear in the plaintiffs first. Following that, I'll swear in the defendants. And then I'll hear from both sides, and then I may have questions for both sides. If you have any witnesses you wish to call, and I see there may be one potential witness who was referenced in some of the stuff that was filed, you can call that witness. I'll swear that witness in, and then hear from there. I may have questions for each one of you. I may not, and but I want all. Can you hear me? How's that hearing?
I could let, you could turn it up a little bit, can't you?
Where's the volume pointing?
It's the wheel.
Wheel.
Okay, there you go. Can you hear me now?
It's on 5, is that right?
I honestly, I don't know.
Okay,
Okay. Does it
I
go-
can hear you pretty good.
I know, but it's 5. It's, did you ever see Spinal Tap? Where they painted an 11 on the volume dial? Okay, why don't you bring it up to me? Let's see if we can turn this up. Let me see. Yeah, that's as loud as it goes.
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Perfect.
I can hear you now that you're 1 foot away from me.
Okay, to recap, again, I swear in both sides. I'll hear from both sides, plaintiffs first and the defendant. I may have some questions for you. And we'll just kind of proceed in that manner. Next, say if you have witnesses to call, I'll swear in the witness and hear from the witness also. I want to remind everybody, I want all comments directed to me and not to the other party. I don't want you to interrupt the other party. You're going to hear, I can tell already, this is a highly emotional case. I could tell that from reading the pleadings or what had been submitted. You're going to hear things you don't like. You're going to hear things you disagree with. And then I'll give you a chance to state your disagreement. And then don't interrupt the other side. Don't address the other side. Address all comments to me. The other thing is, you need to be aware of is I'm bound by the law up here. There might be a way that I think that, oh gosh, I can do it this way, or this makes sense to everybody, but I can't do that. And so a lot of times I have the experience where people ask things that the law doesn't entitle me to give. And even though it might not seem right or fair or appropriate, that it's just that's just the way it is. I'm bound by the law and what the facts are presented and go from there. So with that, Mr. and Ms. Stevens, you're the plaintiffs here. Who wishes to speak first?
Me.
Okay, could you raise your right hand, please?
I know this is my left, this is my right, but I would like to speak first. It's Friday! Let's party, guys. Let's have a good time, shall we? Tell me what you're drinking. Or if you're in bed, tell me what your pajamas look like. Especially if you're not wearing any.
Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
How is it that the Lawrences owe you? You're asking for a judgment amount and the statutory maximum of $10,000. And so I need you to explain to me why they owe that. And then I'm going to need you to itemize. I thought it was, itemize how you come up with that figure.
Okay. First off, relocation assistance. The home became inhabitable. And
I'm pretty sure she means uninhabitable. Pardon me. I'm pretty sure she means uninhabitable. Right?
all my filings, I have the evidence of that. Notices from the city of Lacey and Thurston County Housing Authority to also support that evidence. So relocation assistance in the amount of equivalent to the last month's rent that I was paying, $2,350.
How much?
$2,350 is what I was paying when I moved out. 3 times that would be $7,050. I had to buy a heater because we were freezing. That I provided a receipt for that. That's $30.
I mean, where'd you do the heater?
I just bought a space heater for $30 from Walmart
For the place?
for the entire 2,000 square foot home. It wasn't able to keep us all warm. So I put it in the room where the baby is so that the baby would be kept warm through the winter.
What? I'm sorry, you're paying $2,350 a month? And the baby's cold? Is the baby living out in the trailer with the adult adopted daughter? That's a callback to another show, by the way. That doesn't even make sense to a lot of people. But a few of you will get it.
I provided a receipt for that heater. Replacement of our clothing. There are me, Frank, my 3 boys, and my grandson that lived at this residence, and all of us lost our clothing due to mold. I provided photos of all of our furniture that was covered in mold that we had to take to the dump. I provided photos of all the trips to the dump. I did not ask for reimbursement for my dump fees or for my furniture. I am asking for November, December, January, and February's rent.
Were you
My
there?
portion
Okay.
that I paid, because I'm on housing, to be returned to me, because I began giving him notices in October for these needed repairs. And the home is inhabitable. We froze all winter. I'm asking for my damage deposit back.
I just want to point out, this is small claims court, folks. This is not a tenancy case. And she means uninhabitable. I'm perplexed. I am perplexed. What's new?
Which I paid $1,200, but the rental agreement that he provided me when I asked for it says only $1,000. So I would be willing to take the $200 off of that. I have asked Housing Authority for my copy of my rental agreement, which is part of the program that I would take it to them and they keep it in their file, but they have been putting all their, digitizing all their files, and they keep telling me they can't access it. So, which is why I'd be willing to take $200 off of the damage deposit, because all I can go by is the rental agreement that he's provided, which doesn't look anything like the one that I signed. The one I signed had all the damages that were listed, and this that he provided me has had it all removed. The last month's rent of that I prepaid before I moved in is also not even written on this lease that he provided me. And he had me pay first, last, and deposit to move in. But I don't have evidence of that. So I would be willing to not have those, the 200, but the 12, I know I paid that. And I just feel like my family's been really harmed by all this. Our health is.
So talk to me about I mean, you say a few things about rent. You said 2,350 for, I'm not sure where that comes from, for a month, for what month?
That's how much my rent was
Okay,
when I moved out
okay,
of his unit.
okay, so did you pay that without staying there? Or how is it?
I continued to pay him rent even though housing stopped paying him rent.
Wouldn't that have been a bit of a tip off, MB? Hi, my friend. Thank you for your lovely comment and for being first tonight. That's so wonderful. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. You always make me feel so good when I wear red. And this dress came to me from Texas. It's your birthday! Happy birthday! Oh my God! Oh, I'll prepare my vocal cords and I will sing to my friend. Yay! Oh, happy birthday! I'm so excited for you. Ooh.
Okay,
I have the receipts of me paying him
Okay.
rent for those months.
okay, so hang on just a second. So,
Housing.
okay,
told me-
hang on just a second, ma'am. So tell me what,
Hang on just a second, ma'am. Or Gecko Chaser. Thank you for 10 months support. I will sing happy birthday. Oh, MB, we're so glad you're in our family, and I'm so glad to share a happy birthday with you. And Miss Carrie makes such a good point. Ma'am, you're an idiot. If the housing isn't being paid for by you, what the fuck? Also, Cellulite Yoga Pants makes such a great point earlier. Why is all the clothing, all the shit, everything molded? Like that seems a little bit sus, as the kids would say these days. I think I'm gonna say it wrong, but they would say something like, it's no cap. No, that's doesn't feel right. I can't say it. I don't know. It's fucking sus.
What months you want compensated for rent? And go ahead.
For November, December.
Okay, so hang on just a second. November, so that's November of 24.
Yes.
And then how much was that for the month?
My portion was 332.
Okay. So and
Well, I
then
can
you were
afford
staying
that
there.
rent.
Yes.
Okay. And then December,
My portion was 332.
and you were staying there.
Yes.
And did the housing authority pay the rest of it?
Yes.
Okay. And then January of
Um,
2025?
my portion was 332. He increased the rent
Okay, so hang on, just
$300.
one thing at a time, ma'am. And so then what about February?
In February, the rent went up.
Okay.
My portion went to 825. And he,
Okay, so hang on just a second, just a second. And then what about, and then did the housing authority pay the remainder of that?
yes,
Okay. And then what about March, or when did you move out?
I moved out at
Wow, her rent went way up. Okay, I'm gonna sing happy birthday to my beautiful friend MB, but I think, yeah, yeeted means kicked out, but I'm also gonna share a birthday card that I got for my birthday that Miss Donna sent me, and we can all enjoy that together after I sing. It'll be a little round of applause for myself, since I can't hear you guys, but I know that when I sing, you are applauding. People in your house are stopping in their tracks, wondering, wow, is that the next Adele? How come she hasn't been signed yet? Like, these are questions that I know are being thrown around in your house when I sing. It's tough that I can't hear that myself, but I believe it, and that's okay. So, without further ado, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, MB, my dearest friend, one of my dearest friends, happy birthday to you. Your son just farted? Miss Carrie! And I was waiting here for this. Look at this! Oh, this might be, we gotta be careful on the music. Only Paisley can sing that. Happy birthday, my friend. I'm so thankful for you. And yeah, kick him out, Miss Carrie, right? We would kick kids out for that. Isn't this a crazy little card from Donna? I think we should all have to open this anytime somebody has a birthday. Seriously, happy birthday. Also, I want everyone to understand something. Back to the reality here for a second. I'm obviously a staunch supporter of public housing, public, services. I'm Canadian, for God's sakes. I believe in free fucking healthcare, free. But, Miss Carrie brings up a really good point. Like, there's limits, and when the housing authority is not doing that, then you need to take your cues from them. Also, I find it hard to believe that the housing authority wouldn't have some sort of resources to help somebody when they're putting a lot of money into it. Where I live, when the government pays part of the rent, the government has a lot of say in what happens. Let's just say that.
the 31st of March.
Okay, so what did you pay for rent in March?
I have the rent check for March.
But we put it in.
Okay, hang on just a second. You haven't been sworn in yet. I'm talking to her, and that's why we're just gonna do one at a time. And so March, what was the rent situation in March?
So we came to court and I was gonna ask the judge then,
No, that was when you were here on March.
yes.
Got
And
it.
so I was gonna ask the judge that day, do I pay him for March, even though I'm asking for him to pay me back all these rents?
Right,
But we got postponed, so I just
I'm
kept the rent
aware of
check.
that.
So I still have that rent
Okay,
check
so you did not pay your share of the rent
for
for March.
March.
God, I'm interrupting all the time here, but I gotta say something. Keeping the check doesn't really do anything. A check isn't very good if the money ain't in the account. Like, that's why they ask you to put it in escrow. Escrow. Damn, my boobs look good. They want you to put it in escrow. Can I sit up a little bit? Oh, I can. Yes. Okay, great. Perfect.
No.
Okay, and then you moved out, I heard someone say, on
Yes.
March 31st?
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't pay anything in March. Did the housing authority pay a share of the rent in March?
I'm not sure what they paid.
Okay, and then you moved out March 30, okay, so the 2350, where does that come from?
That's how much my rent is. That's how much my rent was when I moved out of his rental. That's how much he was charging me
Okay,
in
but did you
total.
pay that? Or you want that
No.
back? Okay,
No.
so I guess
that's
if you didn't pay that, why is it that they should give that to you now?
Because I'm forced to have to relocate because of his hazardous home that he did not do any of the repairs to
Okay,
and left me in a hazardous situation.
how long did you live there?
14 years.
All right. Well, how long has this situation have they been the owners the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. And so I mean, has it been like this for 14 years?
No, we had a really great relationship. I
Well,
We
what
had
happened
it-
to the place?
So I started giving him notices of needed repairs and he just acted like I never told him. So I started giving him notices in handwriting. And the first time I gave him one, he just crinkled it up and said, I'll get to it. And so then I started taking the notices and taking them down to housing and having them stamped. So I had proof that I was notifying him that these things needed fixed. And at first I thought it was like a memory thing. Maybe he was just forgetting.
Okay. Well, why did you finally move?
Because housing said
Wouldn't pay
if
for it
I
anymore?
continued to stay there, I would lose my housing. And I'm poor. I can't afford
Right.
to live without my housing. So I had to move.
Okay. And then, did you get different housing or what exactly?
No, I'm homeless right now. I'm living in a trailer on my mom's property.
I don't know if that counts as homeless, and I'm not trying to be rude. I felt really bad there for a second, but what I don't want to do is fucking alienate anybody that lives in a trailer. That might be their fucking home. And the fact that you're fucking crying or greeting, as my nana would say, you're greeting all about it. And you need to fucking seriously. No, but I mean, I find that sort of insulting, to be honest. She might have lost her housing funding, but I have to be real here. It doesn't sound like it was all, like, oh, you guys, I have a story and a half that Nana told me, but I gotta find out the whole thing later, and then I'll tell you all of it. But I don't understand. I'm bothered by this whole situation. You stay somewhere for 14 years. It seems to me like there's a little bit of weaponized incompetence here. Like, you can't send an email. There's no sort of like paper trail for this. You lose your voucher if you're evicted, right? But you don't lose your voucher for complaining about unsafe living situations. They have to fix that. That's what I would think. That's what I think. God knows I'm always wrong.
I haven't been homeless in a long time. Anyway, I'm living in a trailer on my mom's property. I'm on Social Security. I don't have a lot of money to be able to like just move into a new place.
So again, tell me again, why did they, why would you lose your house? Why did they say you would lose your housing?
Because they will not provide assistance for a home that is inhabitable and the landlord refuses to do repairs.
I see.
They won't pay him for that.
Did they seek reimbursement for rent paid for those months that you were asking for? Or do you
That,
know?
I hope so.
No, but you don't know.
I don't know.
All right. And then how did they deem the place was uninhabitable? Did they come out and inspect it or what?
Yes, I provided you with all the inspections, both from the Thurston County Housing Authority and from the city of Lacey, who came out, and they were also mailed these same notifications.
Okay. And then where's that? You submitted a lot.
Yes.
And so, hang on just a second.
Courtney must be as
And
high
I
as a
did
kite.
provide, all of those, I believe.
I wanna be high as a kite. Take me away, fly me away, please.
Oh, here's
With
my
hot.
table of contents.
With all this energy, couldn't she have found a new place, Trish? Hi. Hearts to you too. Guilty, adopt her out. That's the verdict in this court. Guilty, put her up for adoption. She's an adult? No problem. We know somebody who's looking for one of those.
Well, when did this all start to go bad?
It started going bad, I'd say. I thought things were okay in October. But in November, I gave him the first written notice that I had taken to housing.
Well,
Um,
what,
the catalyst, I had a travel trailer that I was purchasing. And we had asked Richard if we could bring it there. And he said, yeah, that was fine. And we were gonna fix it up for summer camping. And so we brought it there and we started looking at it and decided that, you know, it needed too much work for us. And Richard expressed interest in the trailer. And so I spoke to the person that I was gonna buy it from, and they said, you know, they would sell it to him. The next morning, I came out of my house and Richard had his truck attached to that trailer, not by the tongue, but by the back bumper of the trailer, and was dragging it across the yard. And I have all kinds of photos of him doing that. So I had the person who owns the trailer come and get the trailer before he caused any more damage to the trailer.
I see.
And that was the catalyst that started all of this.
Well, I guess maybe I'll rephrase my question, then I'll hear from you. And then I'm gonna hear from them too. And then Mr. if Mr. Stevens wants to speak, I'll hear from him too, but, so
MB, you sent me a birthday PP. You are too nice. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a lifesaver, and I am so grateful for your support. And I'm writing your birthday down in my phone so that it's there, so I get reminded. I don't use Facebook. You know, that's how people know fucking birthdays these days. You understand that? It's Facebook. Change your birthday on Facebook and watch how many people fucking wish you happy birthday on the wrong day. That'll tell you how many people know your goddamn birthday. But in this case, I am personally going to put MB's birthday in my phone. Actually, I should start putting all y'all's birthday in my phone as it comes up. I think that's a great idea. I'll add a little birthday calendar, and thank you, MB. Do. You're the best. Happy birthday!
apparently I now look for it and I'll find it, and I'm sure I've seen it at some point.
And
You know, hang on a second. So I've heard that you said the housing authority said this place was uninhabitable. And so I guess my real question is, was this place been uninhabitable all along? And all of a sudden this trailer incident triggered conflict between the two of you and that brought all this up? Or was this place a nice place that fell into disrepair, or that's?
it was a really nice place.
And so hang on just a second. So you said you had to buy a heater. I mean, did the electricity go out or what exactly?
No, in the photos that I sent to you, the heater quit producing heat. It was just blowing cold air. And now it doesn't blow anything. In the
When
backyard.
did that happen?
So I let him know at the end of summer, beginning of spring, or
End of summer,
end
beginning
of
spring.
summer.
Those are two different times of the year.
Between spring and summer.
Okay.
It was warm outside.
Right.
So I told him verbally that the heater doesn't seem to be working, but I wasn't really worried about it because it's summer. And so in October, I said, hey, the heater still doesn't work. And I need you to get that fixed before winter comes. And that's when he was just, yeah. I remember you saying something about that. And I'll get on it and have it looked at. And I didn't hear anything. So in November, I provided him a written statement that heater needed fixed. So November, December, January, February, I moved out in March.
Okay.
The heater still doesn't work. In the photos that I provided to you, the outdoor heater contraption has its own ecosystem growing in it because it hasn't been used all winter. The shaft part that blows the air through.
The shaft part that blows is over here. That's the part we like, my dear. Ugh. Some people have no understanding. Anyways, why is my box so small? That's what she said. I just don't understand. I'm honestly just perplexed. I feel like you would just go to the my arms, my hands, they go away. My box is too small. Not something anybody's ever complained about. Just saying.
The vents in the house has it's
Is that what, and again, because the number of pages aren't on this.
and we did
So
have
hang on just a second now. So where's the, can you put this in here where I can see where the pages are? Where So I'm not sure why that's not showing it. Because I want to find the one with the 80 pages, because I want to find why the housing authority did. Does that make sense? Maybe.
Yeah, it's just not showing you the.
Yeah, it's not the page, it's page count, right? Okay. So why did the, I mean, again, I'm gonna look, that's what I've been looking for, and I'm gonna try and find it. You said at somewhere in here, there was a evaluation from the housing authority that deemed the place uninhabitable.
Yes, so on my table of contents, I don't know how it comes in your area, but the City of Lacey's inspection report was on page 10 and 11. And the City of Lacey's inspection report, and then the Housing
Okay,
Authority's
so hang on,
notice of
but
abatement.
just wait a minute, ma'am.
This is a small claims case. I see this going absolutely fucking nowhere. Yeah, what is his area? Also, Bill makes a really good point. If your shaft has its
I'll
own
look,
ecosystem, folks,
it's gonna take me a minute
you
to
need
find that,
see a
but I can look
doctor.
at that in a minute.
It takes minutes.
Oh, there we go. Okay, hang on here just a second.
Sometimes it happens a lot quicker than you think. All of a sudden, there it happened. And that's okay. You know? We can have next time real quick. And then sometimes you think it's happening, and then actually you're going to take a little while. You ponder it. You really stroke. Your chin. Judge, come on. You're killing me. Adam, I've met Courtney in real life. In Florida, my spiritual home, the place where I belong. They can hear me singing in there. I'm sure they're like rolling their eyes at me. Just like the judge is sort of rolling his eyes at me. Just secretly, though. I want to. I can't travel right now. So I just, they are canceling flights left, right, and center. This lady looks really, ornery, by the way. Judge, can you, sort this out?
Okay.
Huh? Come on. I know you can do it. I know you can do it just like me. Just get on your knees. Then take the tip. Now just the tip. And put it on your lips.
Okay, Mr. Frank Stevens, is there anything you wish to say? She kind of covered a lot of it. If you have anything to add, I don't want you to repeat everything.
Mr. Frank Stevens. Oh, there's a Beans and Franks joke in there somewhere, but I can't get it right now. I gotta smoke some more weed.
She just told me.
Pretty much covered it.
All right, so who's going to speak for you folks?
Say what?
Who's going to speak for you folks first?
I can speak.
Okay, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
You can put your hand down. And go ahead, I'll hear from you.
Well, I have no way to get a hold of them. I have no address, I can't get a hold of them. I have no way to get a hold of them.
Okay.
They didn't provide me with anything. I can't believe that they that they were under oath and saying the things that they were saying.
Okay.
But,
Well, what's your response here? Okay, what I have in front of me right now, I mean, and again, just a lot of this stuff, I'm not going to be able to compensate for. Here's where I'm coming from, and here's what concerns me about this situation. Okay.
yes.
So I have in front of me some inspections from the Housing Authority, one from the City of Lacey, and they came out and, you didn't pass inspection. And for either the City of Lacey or the Housing Authority, they had some issues with what you're done. The City of Lacey noticed you'd done some electric work that wasn't inspected or permitted. They noticed that the heat facility or the furnace apparently wasn't turned on and wasn't working. They were concerned about whether it was working at all. And then from the Housing Authority, it indicates that it didn't pass inspection. And as far as I can tell, they were going to stop paying the portion of their portion of the rent, but they were still going to require them to pay for it. And so I guess I would have you answer to that. And also it said, according to the City of Lacey, it's in here that, they told you that needed to be done by a licensed electrician.
Oh, Paisley, you're so stupid! You're so stupid! You didn't listen! I feel so dumb. Turns out her story's all true. Well, shit. And no, we didn't run Bev off. Bev likes to play video games. She keeps her own schedule, and we love her, and she loves us too. Okay, so turns out lady was right. Maybe she gonna get the $10,000 after all. I'm over here thinking like, oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That also reminds me of a story recently where I watched a short where this guy raised a camel from birth, basically, like bottle fed it, and then it kept coming in his house all the time. But then somebody in the comments was like, I knew somebody that had a camel and they were really good with kids because they were in the nativity scene every year. I just know that's so funny. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but it did.
You needed to schedule an inspection and you didn't do it. You weren't interested in doing that. So I guess I would have you address that.
I did have it inspected.
Do you have the copy, the
I
inspection?
do not. The electrician came over there. They denied entry to the house. They would not let them in. And
Do you have any sort of documentation from that electrician?
I do not have it with me, but he's a licensed electrician. And like I say, he went over there. They denied him entry, not only once, but 2 times. And
How come you didn't schedule the inspection with the City of Lacey when they asked you to?
I can
read this to you.
I'm not understanding that question.
Sure. I'll read.
I'm glad we went into the immediate archive, by the way, you guys. I just want to say that. Fresh Court is so good. It's like fresh fruit or fresh coffee, you know? You can eat the other kind and you can drink stale coffee, but nothing fucking beats fresh fucking coffee. Or fresh tea. Or Fresh Court. Woo!
Hang on.
Okay.
I notified the property owner that permits were required for any electrical work that was done, and he need to hire a licensed and bonded contractor to come out and inspect the furnace to find out if it is a working order. The property owner refused to schedule the required inspection.
Well, I had the inspector, I had the electrician come. Like I say, they denied him entry. And I went over there this morning, the heat works. This morning when I went by there, the heat works. And they turned on, Your Honor, they turned on the water, left it running wide open. I got a $2,500 water bill. And they did that on purpose. So I have, right now, the water is,
So
I
hang
have
on just a
that-
second.
That bill.
I gotta say, you're not gonna rack up that bill in one day. And if somebody leaves, you need to. I mean, unless they did it while they were there, that's terrible. But that would be so fucking annoying. Wouldn't you have to pee all the time if the water was running all the time? You have to be so petty. So petty. But you can do inspections. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Also, a lot of tenancy agreements have like a utility amount included in it, and then it, like, if there's above a certain amount, then the tenant's responsible for that to protect them from this type of thing.
And so then there's a letter to them from the housing authority. It said, the housing authority recently re-inspected your unit, which is theirs, what they are renting from you, and found that the housing quality standard deficiencies have not been cleared. This re-inspection was the final inspection, and as a result, we will need to begin abating the HAP or housing assistant payment, which means they're not going to pay it. And said, you will continue to be responsible for your portion of the rent in the amount of $825, which she mentioned earlier, but you're not responsible for paying the abating housing assistant portion of the rents. Said if the deficiencies are repaired. And so, did you do anything to repair those deficiencies?
I repaired.
Okay, so, and I'm asking him, not you there, sir.
Pardon me?
You have an advocate behind you who is nodding, and I'm asking you, I need answers from you, not from him.
Okay. The question was,
What did you do to address those deficiencies?
well, I went over there and I met the man from the housing authority leaving. And I was there to go in with him and go over things, and he just walked off and left me. And
Did he give you any notice of anything, of any reason what was
No.
wrong?
like I say, they have taken, they're thousands of dollars behind in rent. I mean, the only time they've been current on the rent is the last couple months. When the last, I let them buy without paying thousands of dollars worth of rent.
Okay, but you're saying they only played current when you were in November, December, and January?
That's the only thing that they have documents for. They're thousands of dollars behind in their rent.
Well, they don't live there anymore.
No, they don't. But they haven't paid for a long, long time before that.
Why didn't you do anything about that?
I felt sorry for them. How many people they had living there, I have no idea. They had, I don't know, they had probably 5 to 10 people living there all the time.
Bye, Bill.
Again, why didn't you do anything about it?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Why I didn't. I felt, like I say, I felt sorry for them.
Well,
And I liked them. I always liked them until this thing. And
did you is the premises been re-rented?
no,
Why not?
okay, here's a few reasons why it's not right. The house is dirty.
Right.
All the carpets are ruined, destroyed. Garden window is destroyed. There's broken light fixtures. There's the front door is off of some, I don't even know where it came from. Some metal door he found someplace and put on the front. The sliding doors for the washer and dryer are completely gone. There's $1,500 worth of doors there. The appliances are destroyed. All of Formica is destroyed. There's holes, they've stabs in it. The house smells so bad. And the back door is destroyed. That's a few things that's wrong.
Holy fucking shit! Tin Man from Mexico. Love it. Take me with you next time, Tin Man. I want to be in Mexico so badly. Oh. What did you hear that it was 1700? What was 1700? I feel like she's been so upset that I allegedly, in my own opinion, which is fucking stupid, I believe that a bad tenant could do that. She lived there for 14 years. She was hurt as fuck. I don't know. Oh. Yeah. Honestly, it's not good because most people miscarry are regular working folk who, like you, pay more than the housing authority pays. But there's no shame in getting housing assistance if you can. It takes so long here, like 10 years. If I could travel back in time, well, there's a lot of things I would do, so get in line.
With the house right now. And like I say, I have that 2,000 some $500 water bill, which they just walked off and left the water running wide open.
And they were your tenants for 14 years?
Yes, they were.
And you never noticed any of this stuff before?
Well, I never went in the house.
So that's a yes, you never noticed that?
You never went in the house in 14 years? Mikey, it appears that some of these people are adults seeking adoption. Do you think you can hook them up? And Miss Carrie, I would believe that. You can eat off your floors. Absolutely. I cleaned a lot today. So much. The floor is the last thing, though. So I wouldn't eat off of it, but eat off the counters. Eat out the sink. Eat out the toilet. And tomorrow the floors will be done. Man, that check mark looks good on you, Mikey. I like it.
Do you wish to have?
Well, I noticed the yard was just totally covered with garbage. This trailer that they spoke of, that trailer there, they were renting, they were paid rent to keep that trailer there. And he was running a business out of which is all in the homeowner, the rental agreement. They're not supposed to run a business out of there. They're not supposed to.
Okay.
Your Honor, the thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a few things that are unbelievable there, Mr. Lawrence. And ma'am, do you wish to have anything to add? Okay. So Ms. Stevens, talk to me about the water bill.
So Richard showed up at my home 2 weeks before we moved out. And I provided you photos of before he dug up the garden and after he dug up the garden. When he was there digging up the garden, he opened up the main water valve and the main water pipe had been leaking, at which time he told me that water bill occurred because of the leak in the main water line from his old water pipe. And I have photos that I provided to the court of that ground being undisturbed before he arrived and dug up after he arrived. And I do have video of him digging it up. So he's trying to say that I left that water running when his main water line burst. That's not my fault.
Mr. Lawrence, you can address that. I mean, she's telling me they didn't leave the water line, they didn't leave the faucet running, and the water line burst. And that's what drove the bill up.
She's lying.
She's lying. No shaft ever burst for that lady. That's not how it works. The dirty shaft that she talks about isn't mine. I bet they've had a foursome, Mikey. Oh, that made me a little bit sick. No, I'm just joking. Oh, God. Who is the guy in the back? Apparently he's an advocate. Don't we all wish we had hype men that came to court with us? Actually, I can be hired as a hype person to come to court with you. Like a live, in-person sort of woo girl.
And
So hang on just a second. So you're saying a faucet was left on or water was just running?
She left the water running wide open,
Where and what sink?
right in front, where it enters the home.
Oh, you mean she just turned on an outside faucet?
Yeah,
The faucet was spewing water when you showed
Yeah.
up there.
the whole front area was flooded.
Well, that one burst water mains do that. Another question I have for you, ma'am, he's saying that you hadn't been paying rent. You only paid rent the last couple of months you referenced. Was that accurate, not
that's
accurate?
inaccurate. Had that been the case, I'd lost my housing. So I have paid my share of the rent every month in the whole 14 years that I've lived there, except for in the beginning. I overpaid him and he worked out a deal for me to pay a little more, and I bought a Honda Spree moped from him because he actually owed me back some extra money that I had overpaid him. So no, I've never had this problem ever. My rent's always been paid. And when these issues started is when I start getting money orders because he's always asked for cash. And apparently it's never been registered as a rental from what the city of Lacey has told me.
All right. Give me a minute.
This is a tough one for the judge. Maybe he is going senile. Maybe there is something the matter with me. Look at this thing, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
Well, actually, one other question, he referenced a bunch of damages there to the house. I think he
Well,
talked
I've
about
lived
the
there
door and the
14
window.
years, so the
Right.
carpet is definitely damaged. Not anything beyond normal wear and tear. The kitchen counter, he told me that it was rotting around the seal when I moved in. And he told me that if I wanted him to replace that down the road, he would. Well, I never asked him to. So it's still the same damage that it's been since I moved in. Maybe a little more because it's 14 years I've been there. I haven't intentionally caused any damage. I shampooed carpets. I provided you photos of that. I made sure every room was clean. I provided you photos with that. I provided you photos of the oven. I provided you photos of the fridge. I provided you photos of the dishwasher. So everything that he's saying is a lie. And I have provided proof of that. The yard is clean. I took photos of that.
Speaking of yards, I heard that Mikey did a case about a dirty yard. Can we put the link to Credence and Mikey in the chat so that you guys can go check that out afterwards? It was something about, didn't some guy freak out at a judge over his nasty yard? Yeah, good case. I mean, how come it's always fucking easements, yards, or period fences in our case that people have problems with?
What about the door? I heard
The
about it.
front door. So that front door has been repaired 3 times by Richard. He pulls it off, he fills it in with caulking and puts it back on. I still, every winter, the caulking would separate and the cold air would come through. So we put a metal door on so that we weren't freezing cold from the air that was coming through the door, that he continued to repair instead of replace. And he repaired that door 3 times in the 14 years
So
that I
I
lived
see
there.
a heat pump outside. It's like full of pine needles and all
Yep,
that. When was the
that's-
last time that was operational?
That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
I know,
That's
I
the
mean-
heat pump that we haven't been able to use that all winter.
Did
It
that,
was, like I said, it was like the end of spring, beginning of summer, when I noticed that it wasn't working, but I mean, it was getting warm, so I really wasn't worried about it. But I mentioned it to him verbally. And normally when I tell him about things, he'll come and check it out, but he didn't. And I didn't really think anything of it because it was summer, right? But when October came and I mentioned it to him and he sort of brushed me off, that's when I figured I better start putting it in writing.
Good night,
So
Courtney,
yes,
my
it's been
love.
inoperable.
Ma'am, stop interrupting me when I'm saying goodnight to Courtney, my love. Good night, Courtney. We love you. Fall asleep to me occasionally yelling.
All through, all last summer.
all right, give me a couple minutes.
A couple minutes? Okay, maybe that's enough time to tell. Well, probably not. Probably not. It's enough time for you to go and make sure that you've liked the video. That was also me getting nervous because I clicked. You know, you click your mouse, you don't know what it's gonna click. You don't know. We don't know. Yeah, the period fence was a case that we covered a little while ago, Adam. That was. Do you think she'll get the full 10,000, Miss Carrie? By the way, that's what she's asking for here, you guys. $10,000. I think she'd have, even if she was given a judgment of that, I think she'd have a really hard time collecting on it. That is honestly the hardest part about a lot of these small claims cases is the collection. Even if you are awarded a judgment, that's just a piece of paper that says that you're entitled to money. It's not cash, unfortunately. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that she'll get 10,000. Adam, yes. That case was crazy. We went through a little while where there was some intense shit happening in Thurston County with some fences. The one that one in particular, I think the neighbors, they literally took like pads and then painted nail polish on it to make it look like blood, and then hung them up on their fence to make it like disturbing. And then I'm not sure if it was the same case or just like at the same time, but there was a case where, like, I think it might have been the same people where they put crab and like seafood remnants in a bowl to attract no, I'm not talking about you, sir. It was to attract like birds to the fence line to bother their neighbors. Quite a war, to be honest with you. Quite a war. I'm pretty sure that was the same thing. It was nuts. Yeah, they put the food waste near the fence, and then, I mean, again, just what a miserable existence. I would much rather just not speak to my neighbors, which is how it works. It's so great. Yeah, Judge. Also, do we think they clean those headphones? Like, I don't think they do. And yeah. I don't know about that. I feel bad for the people that are hard of hearing that have to listen to the dirty headphones. They have to wear the headphones of shame. And they look like they were given to you on a flight from 2003. You know what I mean? Like they have that weird jack that plugs in on the plane, and then they're very stiff. And they have foam over the ear parts. And then, Adam, we also had a case where it literally came up, but I shit you not, like, we fucking, like, it sounds like we made it up, but they were disputing, did they actually have a period room? I think they said period room. Like, they were disputing who had more space for the kid in the case, and one of them mentioned having, like, a period room. And these are the types of things in this job that both keep me going and make me glad I don't have any visual imagery at all. So.
Did you ever get notice from the housing authority that they weren't going to be paying their share of the rent anymore due to the state of the property?
No, sir.
So this all just came as a surprise to you?
Say what?
This all came as a surprise to you?
It did.
And the condition of that house, again, there's a number of pictures from the exterior. You're surprised that that house was deemed unfit to rent? Because I will tell you, looking at that picture, I sure wasn't.
Well, they felt it was fine to
I'm
bring,
asking, I'm not talking about them. I'm asking about you, whether you got notice of it or.
I'm not aware of any notice, no. And
So when the housing authority wrote in that letter that they inspected and it didn't pass inspection, you were unaware of all that?
I was unaware of it. I'd like to know where my front door is and where the doors for the washer and dryer are.
I think he just missed the point here. They might get a judgment.
Like I
Yeah.
say, I went by there this morning. The heat worked.
All right.
I was always very good to those people.
All right. I'm gonna need a couple of minutes here, so
Okay.
we're gonna.
Judge, seriously, are we real for real? Are we really for real? It's Friday night. Actually, I heard there's a special Sunday show happening. Not from me. Well, probably one from me. During the day. I don't know, actually, when. What time's your show, Mikey? Is it at 6 East or 8?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Judge, I'm asking Mikey, not her.
If you'll notice the notices that I provided to you, because I feel like I should address this. I kind of knew that he was going to say this based on our mediation last time,
Say what?
that he didn't receive any notification and didn't know. Some of those notices I got from Kevin and the Housing Authority are the ones that are addressed to him, so that I had proof that they sent notices to him.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say.
The boys are back in town. Miss Carrie, the boys will be doing a special show at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's 3 Pacific on Sunday. And my shows will be after theirs. So that's exciting. And it's all because they are amazing, and so are the people that watch their channel, and they hit a goal. So they're coming in on the weekend. They're pulling extra shifts for y'all. That's so sweet. You're so good, Mikey. I do things for my goals like buy straws. But good job, seriously. And I will definitely be watching along on Sunday. I did hit a goal. You're right, Cellulite Yoga Pants. We've hovered above. I don't want to make too big of a deal about it because we really don't have a big enough buffer to fucking gloat yet.
Do you have a response to that? And did you hear what she said
No,
about the notices?
No.
Okay, she said that she provided notices that appear to have been sent to you as well. Which I will say, it surprises me that you never heard any notice from the housing authority. If they gave an inspection and said, these are the things wrong with it, you need to fix this, and you're saying, what are you talking about? I'm not really,
well, like I say, I went down there to meet them and he was walking away from the house.
okay,
And so he didn't have anything to say to me.
okay, and you never got any sort of notice from them?
No,
We believe him? Miss Carrie, a YouTube goal. So they set a YouTube goal and hit it and then quit it. Not actually the opposite. Hit it and then followed through with it. Wow. Yeah, I call bullshit on, I feel like
I'd
both
like
sides
to say
a little bit.
something.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Well, if they felt the house was so bad to live in, my question to them is, why did they have all of these people, little kids and everything, living there with them? You know, there was several of them. I don't even know how many people were living there. There was a bunch of people living there, including a little baby.
we
So
heard
my
about the
question
baby.
is, if it was so bad, why did they let all those people live there?
Well, I think it's possible, and I'll let him answer, else he hasn't been sworn yet, I will. I think it's possible that they had no place else. And so could you raise your right hand, sir? You swear and affirm the information that you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Go ahead.
I did fill out,
To me, you're
I
talking
did.
to me.
take him a paper and he agreed to the $300 for my infant grandson to be moved in. And we had housing approve it and he's on the housing papers. All three of our boys were on the housing and us two adults. So there's five adults and one child, one infant. So where he's coming up with all these umpteen billion people, he's wrong.
Okay.
And the water thing out there in front of the house, the spigot, I was standing right there and watched him do the whole thing. I'm in the video and he told me that I sabotaged it. No, because the pipe that was coming out of there was a rust hole coming from the inside of the pipe out. That's why he's got a $2,500 water bill, is because he didn't fix his issue. And that's all I got to say.
Do you have a response to that?
Well, like I say, they left the water run wide open. And just to cause problems for me. And like I say, I've been so good to those people all these years, and why they chose to do this, I don't have any idea.
Okay.
I let them slide on the rent.
So a couple things here. First of all, there's a number of issues at law here. First of all, this is an interesting case where both parties, not uncommon in small claims, both parties are saying, well, they're looking across the table and say, well, this person's lying, this person's lying. And I wasn't out there. I didn't, I wasn't privy to these conversations. I wasn't there when you were looking at the water pipe. I wasn't there. Never been to the place. I don't know whether the heating works great, as you say, or no, it never really worked, didn't really work right, is what you say. But with regard to, and alls I can do, this was part of that speech at the beginning, is listen to both parties and kind of make sense about what's being told to me. And if you can't hear anything I say, I want you to let me know right now.
Okay.
Make sense of what's told to me. Because there are certain things both of you are saying, objectively, they can't both be true. And so I kind of have to figure out things and go from there. And so, first of all, with regard to the relocation expenses, I'll make sure
That's my cue, Judge. I probably should ask you guys, what do you think? Will they get the money? What will he do? Get your guesses in the chat right now while I look at a good message on my phone.
the Stevens are citing RCW 59-18-080 for governmental agency responsible for the enforcement of a building, housing, or other appropriate code has notified the landlord that a dwelling is condemned or unlawful to occupy due to the existence of conditions that violate applicable code statutes. And this is an important part. A landlord shall not enter into a rental agreement for the dwelling unit until the conditions are corrected. So I take that to mean that there's a condemned building and then the landlord rents it to someplace, they show up and say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. And so I don't necessarily think that particular statute applies in this case. But the statute that I do think applies and is going to be the basis for my ruling is, I had it up here and now I lost it. Give me a minute.
Coleslaw wrestling for the wives. Send them both in.
Duties of the landlord.
Duties. He said duties.
Landlord shall at all times because this is a long-term tenancy. It's been on for 14 years. And so I don't know what condition, that wasn't where you entered into an agreement into a condemned building. You were you rented something 14 years ago that now had a bunch of deficiencies in it. But again, the landlord will at all times during the tenancy keep the premises fit for human habitation, and shall in particular, and then it goes through a whole list of things, maintain the premises to substantially comply, maintain the structural components, and all kinds of stuff. And then and in this particular case, I felt I'm finding that the Lawrences failed to do that. And I can look and see at the, you could just look at some of these pictures. I'll be blunt with you and tell you that as I see it right now in these pictures, that house is in terrible condition. It's not rentable. It's just not. And you can blame them if you want to, or you can, but I see they did provide documentation as to where they told you these things are going on and you need to fix them. I frankly don't, I have trouble believing that they just left with the water faucet turned on. I just don't, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And combined with, again, the testimony and the pictures that have been provided. With regard to, so there's also the issue of the damage deposit, but one of the remedies in a situation like this is to refund when notice is given about certain deficiencies and they're not addressed. That affects the value of the property. It affects the value of the rent given. And so I can order to refund or a judgment in the amount of rent during the affected period. And in that regard, that's what I'm going to do here. And so I'm going to enter a judgment, which again, just a second, for the portion of rent paid for November, December, and January, 3/32, because I'll find that notice was given to
I
the
dream of paying
repair.
$332 a month in rent. That's like when I was in high school and they used to make you do like a budget, and your teacher's like, Paisley, it's really not feasible that you would only pay $332 a month for rent. Well, apparently it fucking is.
Repair the heater. I find it credible that the heater wasn't working, given the state of the situation that I observed through the pictures. So it'll be 332 for, do the math on this. Three months at 332, another month at 825.
Is there a holiday in America this month in May?
And then I'm not the damage deposit. I mean, again, I don't find that that was improperly held, given the amount of time that you had been there, combined with the state of the place as I observe it. So I'm not going to make them, I'm not going to offset that. I'm not going to order them to give that back. I'm simply going to order a judgment for the amount of the rent that you paid during the months that you would give notice, and it wasn't fixed. And I'm not going to award relocation costs. But a judgment will enter in the amount of $1,821 in their favor. So you're going to owe them $1,821. And the filing fee, which is $50, you'll get that on top of it. And this is going to be one of those situations where, again, as I said at the beginning, no one's going to be happy. You're mad that I'm not giving you exactly what you're asking for. You guys are going to be mad because you're making you pay anything at all, but that's just what I'm going to do here for today. Give me just a moment and we'll give you copies of
MB's
this.
birthday. That's canon now. And I'm surprised she got something. Okay, so in Canada, it's what day is it? Shit, I just was looking at it. I think it's Victoria Day on the 19th. Yeah, Victoria Day, which I live in the city of Victoria, but it's actually named after Queen Victoria. But anyways, Victoria Day is on the 19th. I only asked because I was hoping they fell on the same day. But they don't, and that's okay. I don't think we've ever seen it either.
Did you pay a fee to get them served? Did you?
No,
Okay. So the total judgment is $1,871.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Were you not going to do the heater or the clothing?
The clothing I can't do, no, is frankly, no. You know, the
Okay.
clothing, I can't value that in terms
Okay.
of, I need someone to come in here and say, this was lost as a result of that, and this is what the value of it is. And
Okay,
without that sort of evidence, I really can't do that.
okay,
And the same is true for the heater. If that's a space heater, you keep it and it could still be yours. Do you still have it?
yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Okay,
it's still yours, you still use it. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna, you don't get a free heater. I mean, in the sense that if you got it, if you left it there or improved the place somehow, then, and like bought a new stove and left it there, then yeah, you would get for that. But if you bought the heater and you keep it and still use it, then no, I'm not awarding
Okay.
for that.
all right,
Does that make sense?
yes,
Even if you disagree with it, which you
Yes.
might?
that's fine.
We do rarely see a case go this way for tenants. It is tough.
Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
How long does it take for him to have to pay us?
So see, that's part of that speech that I would have given at the beginning. You know, it's out of my hands now. The
Okay.
only thing you do at the end of trial is you get a piece of paper that says you have a judgment, and that's it. It's up to
Okay.
you how to collect it.
All
Part of
right.
that speech prior to mediation is, you know, the easiest part of the trial process or the legal process is getting a judgment. That's pretty easy. Turning that judgment into money is a lot tougher.
Yep.
And you're on your own for that. I
All
can't
right.
help you. For me to tell you how to go about enforcing that is giving you legal advice, and
How
I'm not in the
soon can I
advice
get
giving
a
business up here.
transcript of this so I can take it to Superior?
It gets sent to Superior Court pretty much within 24 hours. Is that correct?
We transcribe it after 30 days. and
Okay.
then mail it out.
30 days.
30 days?
Yep.
Awesome, thank you.
And there you go. Miss, you can come up. You can take it.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. What is she
And then
appealing?
Mr. and Ms.
Ma'am?
Lawrence, either one of you can come up and get yours also. You can take off the hearing device and you can just leave it on the table.
We're definitely not going to clean it, but we're going to pretend like we are. Oh,
I guess the
wish-
question I failed to ask is, what about my front door and door for my
You
washer
could take a
and
seat there. You go take a seat. No, I'll answer that question, but you can answer down there. First of all, no counterclaim was filed as far as I can tell. So if you want to get oh, did you hear that? In order for you to get a judgment, you need to file your own suit or a counterclaim, right? And none was filed as far as I can tell. Second thing is, the damage deposit, that's where, you need to show that the expenses of the damages were greater than your expense, and then you're going to be required to prove all that. But you have to bring a separate suit or do a counterclaim or something like that, and that
Have
hasn't been
30
happening.
days to do that, is that
I'm
right?
not going to be given, I'm not in the advice giving business here. You need to, you can consult with a lawyer. I can't tell you what, I'm not going to tell them what to do about the judgment. I can't tell you what to do, how to conduct your case. So I can't give you an answer to that. Sorry.
Okay,
All right. Good luck to you all. I do mean that.
okay, my last question is,
Okay.
when do I have to pay this?
That's again, I can't
Oh,
speak
okay,
to that.
all right.
That's up to you.
Okay, thank you for all your help, Judge.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Just so you know, the judge is sitting there exactly like this. Like, I can prove it. He's like, what the fuck? How is this my life right now? Anyways, you guys, I don't think we'll be on tomorrow just because I have to work. I got to make some money. But Sunday night after dark with Credence and Mikey, looks to be amazing. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. Make sure you're there. Spread some love and do me a favor, Courtney. Next case, I have a really good one for us on Sunday. To redirect. Oh, to me. Oh, I'll try. Thank you. I was like, wait, I don't think the time. Yeah, I understand now. On Sunday, here's a sneak peek for you. We're going to do a case where a mom has lost custody of her kids and is fighting going to inpatient treatment. What will the judge decide? We'll find out on Sunday. Oh, John's still alive? Well, go visit John. I still can't redirect to him. He has not set that up properly. But go visit him. Do me a favor, guys. Seriously, do me a favor. Remember that I love you and I'm proud of you. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.